How much? One?
1 euro.
Yeah.
30 cents.
2 days of crossing the borders between Laredo in Texas and Nuevo Laredo in Mexico for investigating the problems of migrants. Easy for me as a European tourist, nearly impossible for them who cannot afford a visa. They end up here deported or trying to cross illegally. The last step after their ride on the train of death, and for many of them a deathly attempt.
Este es un camino que nos lleva a ya la bajada del río. Y es de los más comunes que podemos ver la brecha. Sí, es de los más comunes que utilizan los inmigrantes para cruzar hacia los Estados Unidos. Está muy peligroso el río, está muy arriba. ¿Y por qué viniste aquí?
Porque vengo a buscar otra nueva vida, donde no hay trabajo. Pues en el camino nomás tuve que, pues me caí del tren y me quebré la mano y pues no la puedo doblar, ¿verdad? Pero porque no fui al hospital. Y pues uno, pues que en veces lo agarran, no se encuentran y le piden a uno dinero y cuando uno no tiene, pues lo matan.
Esta es la casa del migrante de Nuevo Laredo, es la casa del migrante llamada Nazaret. Es una casa que está dirigida por un sacerdote que viene de fuera del país a atender los problemas de los que son deportados, de las personas que no alcanzan a cruzar, no necesariamente de los que regresan de Estados Unidos, sino también los que no alcanzan a llegar porque fueron engañados y se les quitó su dinero, no tienen dinero para regresarse a sus lugares de origen, ciudades, puede ser México, puede ser de El Salvador, de Guatemala, de Nicaragua.
Centro de Derechos Humanos del Migrante Beato Juan Bautista Scalabrini, that is the name of the office. And here we try to get the report of the situation against human rights. There is criminals, all the kind of criminals that you can find along the road. There are the garroteros. Garroteros are the guards for the trains that also want their share. You know, if you pay, they let you go. If you don't pay, they try to take you down on the train with the batons. You know. There are the police, the local police, the federal police, the immigration police, that also try to get money from them. So they stop them, they ask for money. If they don't give money, they deport them. You know. So also these kind of things. The criminals, they try to kidnap in big groups sometimes, like 40, 50 people at a time. They take them in special places, and then they tell them to call their families by phone and ask for money for ransom. If they don't pay the ransom, they get torture, and sometimes they let them go if they see that they cannot get any money. And sometimes now we saw what happened in San Fernando like a month ago. You know, they kill everybody. 72 people killed because they didn't accept to give the numbers of their families to get the ransom for it. We say that they are delinquent, they are criminals. We recognize them, but especially the local media, they don't talk about it. If you go on the newspapers, if you go on the TV, etc., you will listen to reports only outside the city or outside the state. But inside this state, Tamaulipas, or inside Nuevo Laredo, you will not find any newspaper that talk about anything about this. Because if you do, like the last time they put a bomb on a TV station. They simply give you the message and then they start to kill people. What we have in the Casa now, in this situation, they are deportees from the United States. So we have lots of Mexican deported from the United States. That number, we have it. It's an average of 200 people per day that are deported from United States to Mexico. Whatever we do to as an obstacle to immigration, wherever we try only to stop and to control immigration, it's always a failure. That is a scientific proven thing. If you look at history and all the studies, political studies, statistic studies on immigration, you will see that every country that wanted to stop immigration miserably failed. So you have to find another solution. And the other solution is what now we are trying to fight for in the United States, that is a comprehensive immigration reform. So you need a legislation that is balanced between control and welcoming. You know, how many people are dying in the Mediterranean Sea? You know, and that is our fault. You know, we try to say it's their fault because they come. No, it's our fault that we know they are not going to stop, and we don't care if they die in the sea. That is the reality. Or we send them back to countries like Libya, like other countries that they don't recognize the human rights. United States was open, needed the workers, they, you know, and now they changed the rules. So we change the rules and we make it impossible for people to be legal. So we are making the life impossible to millions of people. They are hiding, they are not going to the hospital, they are not going to school, they are not going anywhere because they are afraid. They only go to work and home. Go to work and home, and they are terrorized by these raids that they do in the place of work, by the laws that they are coming out, and they are laws that they are very discriminating laws, and in some case racist law, like the one in Arizona, you know, that make life impossible to migrants. That is only created more problems. In the sense, instead of resolving problems, they are creating more problems. And the criminality in Mexico is so powerful because of these laws. So the message is to European countries not to do the same. The more you do that, also in Europe, to stop migration, to make it impossible for migrants to come, the more the criminality in Africa or other places, or in the same country, in European country, they're going to raise. And logically, the violence raise, the racism can raise, because also people with the criminality going up in Europe, they become more violent against migrants. And they're not the migrants to be the problem, but the criminality that is really getting more powerful with the problem of migration. Politicians now, they say, we control more the migration, we have less problem. It's exactly the contrary.